Welcome to Digital Champions TV, where we speak with the top leaders and trendsetters in advertising and marketing. I'm Greg Kirkham, and today we're joined by Alexander Ferenczi, Chief Problem Solver at Advocaczi, based in Miami, Florida. Welcome to the show, Alexander.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Now, you started off your career as a media buyer and analyst at VaynerMedia, which I know helped lay some of the groundwork for Advocacy. Since starting, I think you've done somewhere around 50 million in digital investments. How did VaynerMedia help prepare for that?
Well, I got to say, it's a lot of brand and just authority sort of proof that got connected to me once I started there. So working on some Fortune 100 brands in the entertainment and CPG space really set me up for success. And I had some of the best top and world-class training, learned more in less than a year there than I did in 4 years of college. And from there, got shopped around by a couple of recruitings, joined a boutique agency. And then from there, had the confidence enough to establish my own agency and team here down in Miami. So just got to credit it to that brand and the training that came with it. And everybody kind of wanting to work with somebody that has the experience from VaynerMedia and try to steal some, intelligence or knowledge base from Gary Vee and the VaynerMedia team.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I love Gary. He's a great guy. Now, before the call, you mentioned that creative measurement and attribution are some major changes that you're anticipating in marketing over the next 2 years. Tell me more about that. I know there are some incredible creative directors and analysts that could completely geek out on this all day, myself included.
Yeah, so I'd say one, it's, as the promise of digital media, digital marketing, maybe in the early 2010 and teens, right, was hyper personalization, hyper targeting, hyper customization, all of that. And with, the Cambridge Analytica scandal, GDPR compliance, European regulation coming over to the States, it tends to be Europe adapts it, California adapts it, and then from there it sprinkles throughout the entire sort of US base, is that we're seeing these privacy and restriction laws kicking in. So a lot of the targeting parameters have already disappeared. Meaning interest and detail targeting coming from the social media platforms, some affinity audiences when it comes to search or programmatic. So we really see that, targeting through creative is what is going to come out. So it kind of applies that linear TV type of model over into social. And everyone's constantly trying to, develop the new tool, whether it's the high rose pixel or triple whale or all of these different attribution softwares to really understand which creative, which audience, which message is the one driving it forward. And I like to tell people that everything is happening from this 40,000 foot view. So the ones that aren't getting lost in the forest, I think are going to be the winners. And some of the people that are hyper focused on shiny object syndrome or figuring out specifically how to measure everything to a T are going to get lost in that battle, where really it should just be focused on pumping out creative volume that speaks to certain personas, deploying them in a way that you can measure it effectively, running a scientific experiment like your fifth grade science teacher would be proud of you at the science fair, with a hypothesis, your problem solution, your variables, isolating a specific variable. What is your control variable? And what is that conclusion? And what actions are you going to take upon that conclusion? So I think a lot of times marketers, we're at fault for this ourselves as well. We want to hype ourselves up and make our profession seem super complex, tech savvy, and sexy. And sometimes it's too much complexity, and simplicity is really what wins the game, I think, in the paid media landscape.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there is that shiny object syndrome where people always chase the next best thing, even if it's not fully proven out yet, right? And so they chase after that, and then they have to backtrack. They have to come back to the basics of data analytics, of building out those personas and understanding those personas and how they communicate, what kind of content they're resonating with based off of all of this data compilation. Now, for businesses debating between an internal marketing director or an outside ad agency like yourself, what sets Advocacy apart? Why should they choose you over your competitors?
Yeah, I'd say one, our case studies are proof in the pudding. And that really comes down to our sort of in-house and proprietary testing and measurement methodology. So really understanding how to, run testing on these platforms, understanding the engineering that's taking place at the back end of these algorithms, because these digital platforms for marketers and brands, they're essentially your partner. Facebook's your partner, Instagram's your partner, Google's your partner, Amazon's your partner. So if you want to be a respectful partner and get the best benefit from that partnership, you have to understand how their systems work. So we have a deep understanding when it comes to our testing and measure methodology, which has been developed throughout the years and throughout all our partners. And it's really the difference. And it starts off with measuring the branded estimated action rate out of every specific variable and really understanding what a creative concept means. A lot of times people think of creative concepts as, you know, the Kardashians just did a bubble shoot and that's popping right now and it's super viral and it's super hyped on Instagram. Like, we should do a bathroom bubble shoot for our concept too. And I think creative, while it is an art, there is a scientific approach to the art. So what is the reason to believe? Is it emotional? Is it functional? If it's going to be emotional, is it going to be a desired outcome and benefit led, or a pain point led with a hindrance? So understanding to tackle these things where you can make an actionable step, as opposed to investing on something based off hype or virality and hoping that there's an insight that comes out of it. Because if you test, you may fail, but the real purpose of that testing is for the insight that's going to drive you to get 1% better week over week. And you compound those gains month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year. And that's where you can really scale your brand, 30%, and really experience that growth that comes in digital ads.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Alexander, for sharing your business with us today. To connect with Advocaczi and learn more about Alexander Ferenci's work, visit digitalchampionstv.com.